Peace and love, family. Peace and love. Peace and love. Happy 9 universal year to the Universal Supreme, the Cosmic Collective. Thank you so much for being here live with me tonight on Numbers Matter Podcast. I am your girl, Queen B, and this is the podcast where we explore astronumerical topics, patterns, cycles of iconic people, places, and things to help you understand and navigate energy better. So, without further ado, I want to welcome everybody here. I want to make sure you do me a favor before we get started. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this with somebody, especially if they were born on the 9th, the 18th, the 27th of the month, or if they're an Aries, a Scorpio, or in a minor way, Leo, or if their month and date of birth, just the date, just the month and the date, if that adds up to a 9, you should share this with that person because we're going to really get into the 9 tonight. I want to thank you again for being here. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, share the video with your friends. And again, thank you for tuning in. You tuning in with me tonight lets me know that numbers matter to you as much as they matter to me because this is, after all, a Saturn day. So thank you for being here. A Saturn day night after, on top of that. Okay. So whoever's here, thank you so much. And we'll get to you soon. I want to thank you guys, and we're going to get started. I want to say kings and queens up to everybody that's out there. And this is number 4. This is a unit. So remember, this is us also paying universal numeric interpretive tribute to people, places, and things. So we call these units, and it's a podcast unit. And right now we're on unit number 4. So you know what that means. We got to lay the foundation down. We got to get the information out to the family with a foundation and a structure for what they need to do to get through this 9 year. And we're also going to do something interesting, I think. We're going to take a look at the last 9 universal year, which was 2016, and we're going to look at the stuff that happened in that year, just 9 events. And then I'm going to throw in a couple of extras just to give you the overall energy of what a 9 year can bring. And then we're going to look at the year 2017, which was that one universal year right after the 9 year, and see what we didn't get rid of as a country, as a collective in the 9 universal year previous that we carried over into that one universal year. And then we're going to see how those things have culminated up to right now to 2025, the ending of that 2017 9 year cycle. So I hope that sounds interesting to you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot to get into. Also, we're going to be reviewing the personal year factor, which I'm going to explain to you guys later. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of information. So if you have any questions, please make sure you put them in the chat. I will be happy to either answer the questions as we're going throughout the live, or whatever questions you have in the rebroadcast, put them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to come back and get those answered for you as soon as possible. All right. So thank you so much for that. And without further ado, we're going to just do a brief overview of the 9 frequency because honestly, I'm not going to get into the 9 actual frequency stuff too much. You're going to feel it. You're going to hear about it all night. But I'm not going to go too deep because last week I was on Numerology Revealed on Kimberly's channel. So if you don't follow Kimberly, she's an astronumerologist and a metaphysician and a manifestation coach. If you don't follow her, I want you to head over to her channel. I put the link to that in the description, so you can head right over there and get that. Let me actually put the link in the chat right now. So whoever wants to go take a look at that video to get a better understanding of the 9, please go do so on her channel. And also subscribe to her channel because she's the best. And she has a lot of good information for everybody.
All right, so let's put that in the chat. So if you want in-depth information on the 9 frequency, go watch that video. Okay, again, after you get done watching this, okay, after you get done watching this, go watch that video, get a in-depth view of the number 9, because we really did get into it. So I'm just gonna hit like a few points that I want to drive home with this in this show, so we can make sure that we're letting the family know like kind of what we're talking about, so people aren't just so lost about it, but we're not going to go too deep. Okay, so let's get on with it. We're going to get started. So since we just entered the year 2025, guys, you guys know that means we're in the 9 universal year. I'm sure by now everyone's been hearing about this big bad 9 universal year. And really the theme for 9 universal year is just, it's a cosmic challenge. It is. It's like a charge. I call it the cosmic charge, the cosmic challenge. Um, Cosmic wave in some respects for certain people. And it's really just a year of transformation. It's also a year of manifestations of your dreams fulfilled from your previous cycle. And it's a year of completions. It's completing some of those things from the previous cycle and making sure you're getting rid of what no longer serves you. And that includes people, places, things, relationships, businesses, pets, everything. Get rid of stuff that no longer serves you in that 9 universal year. So it's just the ending of the cycles, the releasing of the old, the outgrown, the outworn. We got to get rid of it. And that's all that really is. It's really, and that's why we'll get into it. The elemental energy of a 9 year is a cusp year, because it's really in or out. You can be in or you can be out, so that tide is either right at your back and you're physical and things are up front, or you can be kind of laid back, receptive, and you're kind of receiving things, but you shouldn't go for them right away, because 9 is a finisher year. So some things that you receive in a 9 year, you don't want to automatically go ahead and start that, because it's a finisher year, and you don't want to start things in a finisher year, as we'll see later on when we get through this timeline cycle. So let's get on with this. So again, I mentioned in the beginning that if you're a number 9 person, if you're born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month, because we know that adds up to the number 9. And also, if you're born, if you're Aries or a Scorpio, and in a minor way, Leo, not number 9 rules Aries and Scorpio. It rules that period of the zodiac. So that's full on 9 energy. And for you, this is going to be a significant year for you. It's also going to be a significant year for you if you have a personal year factor 9. That means that your month and your date of birth add up to a 9. And I'll get into a little example of that later. So right now, like I said, we're in the 2025 9 universal year. This is for the entire planet, not just those people I named. It's for everyone. But it's especially for those people I named just now, because this is their energy. So it's going to be a more significant time for them than it will be for others. All right. So, this is so great. Let me check in. Let me check in with the audience. I'm very excited. Oh yes, I'm very excited. Peace and love, Queen. Queen's up, Teresa Miller. All right. Kimberly is in the house. Queen's up. Peace to the Leo Queen. Leo's in the house. Scorpio in the house. All right. We got a Scorpio in the house. There we go. We're in unit 4. And you guys know what? When we get through with these units, they turn into unity, because we're doing this together. You guys that are in the audience, you guys that are watching the rebroadcast, you're the universal supreme. You're the cosmic collective, and that's us, the universal supreme. So when you hear me saying I love us, I'm talking about all of us. I'm talking about all of us as a cosmic collective. So thank you guys so much. And by the time we get done with these units, they turn into unity. So right now we're in unit 4, but by the end of this broadcast, this will be unity 4. All right. So that's the way we're working things around here. All right. And again, go check out the Astro Numerology Revealed, where Kimberly and I did a deep dive on the number 9. Teresa Miller said, I admire and appreciate both of you, Miss Kimberly and Queen B. I'm learning so much. Thank you, Queen. We're here to help, and we're happy to help. And that's what we're here for. I know Kimberly would agree with that. All right. So let me see what I got up here. Let me hide that, and let's get into some of these visuals, because the Queen's got visuals. If I have nothing else, which I've always have a bag of everything when I come. Visuals, jewels, laughter, singing, anything, anything dramatastic, like those number nines. All right. So let me just put this up here because we're going to get into the nine frequency. So let me put these on the stage. Hold on. Um, but let me get myself back up here with it. Let's do it this way for now. So again, this is the cosmic charge. So we'll just get through some of these slides. We already went through the agenda. I won't bore us with that again, but let's take a look at this slide. I'll put this up for a moment. So I like this slide because this really sums it up, you guys. We have nine planets in our solar system. And that's why we have nine as the highest frequency here on earth, because as above so below as above. So we are a mirror image of our solar system. We are the physical manifestation of the solar system, so you can think of that as like the spiritual realm or the spiritual side, and we're the physical manifestation of that. And that's why we see that this is true. And I'm so excited. I want you guys to make sure you subscribe because we have a great show coming up for you somewhere toward the end of the month, where I'm going to have a great numerologist on, Kimberly. She's going to come on and she's going to be talking about the planets, and it's going to be great. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew what we're dealing with the power of nine. And that's what it is. So let me just pull up the next slide and we're going to get right through this. Give me one moment. So you know what? Maybe I'll leave this up while I say this stuff, while I go through this. All right. So, and then remember, guys, I told you guys nine is the cusp energy. It's the universal tide. You can be in or you can be out. It's really up to you. I really look at the out phase as you being out in the way that you need to reflect on your cycle. So you should use those out times during this cycle to really reflect on things so you can make sure you're getting rid of those things. Nine is a very powerful energy, it's potent, so you want to make sure you're handling it with attention and care and diplomacy. So like I said, we know it as the cosmic number. It's the highest single digit known to the universe. As we see, we have nine planets. Nine is the highest single digit. When multiplied or divide, it gives a factor of itself. It loves itself. It's always talking to itself. The creator came to this planet nine times. Upon the 10th time, they say it will be the end of existence as we know it. So this is the importance of the number nine. Number nine is so important that the Chaldeans, one of the oldest numerology system that we use, um, doesn't even use the number nine in their alphabet because it's so sacred. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about the number nine. We're talking about the number nine being the incubation period for gestation, the time that it takes a child to be born on the earth, from the spiritual to the physical realm. So this is the importance and the power and the strength of the nine. And we look at the nine in supreme mathematics, that denotes born, the completion of a cipher. So like I said, as above, so below. Nine planets in a solar system. Nine is the highest frequency on this realm. So this is what I want you guys to understand when we're talking about the number nine here. Okay. And we already went into some of this other stuff. So what I'm going to do now, let me get on to this next slide. So the nine universal year, we'll just talk a little bit about the theme of it. It is the nine year. It's the cosmic charge. I'll get myself back up here on the screen. Kind of like this, but I like the other one with the circle. There. So let's do that. I like the circle because it's like the moon. Um, y'all know I'm crazy. All right, so we're looking at the theme of the 9 year. Like I said, we know it's the cosmic challenge. So that's going to be your transformations, your manifestations, your completions, your endings, dreams fulfilled, humanitarianism, brotherhood, universalism, being a universal brotherhood, doing things for the betterment of humanity. It's an international travel cycle number. So we're going to see a lot of international travel, long distance travel. You could see wars and conflict in the 9 year. And you're going to see excess of accidents and injuries by fire, explosion, or weapons, or otherwise. Also, like car accidents and different things like that. So this is the energy that the 9 brings, symbolizing that completion in some way or another. So, this is why you have to be careful of it. You have to tread it lightly. And you got to really just pay attention to it. So that's for that one. And let me move on to the next slide. So this is the cosmic cycle frequency. This is like the elemental influence. So I'll go over some of these. So basically, 9, again, it's a fire number. It's masculine, ruled by Mars, again, in the first house of the zodiac, representing that cardinal fire. It is, also the eighth house in fixed Scorpio. So that's deep water. So, I often say with that, it's the 1 and the 8 that equals a 9. So there it goes, loving itself again. And then you got to be careful because that cardinal fire is, impulsive. It's easily starting conflict, easily starting wars, fires, on impulse. And then that fixed water will drown you, with their intention, if that's what they feel. So this is why we have to make sure we're navigating these energies properly. We talked about it being the cosmic number. We talked about the tide. It can go either way, it can be in or out. We talked about a little bit about the element of fire. Let's talk about the fire, because fire represents like physical energy. It's passionate, it's vitality, it's a proactive energy, powerful. It's physical energy, right? So when that's unbalanced, fire is easily frustrated or aggressive. It can be volatile, violent, and unpredictable. So we have to make sure we're balancing that fire energy that we're going to be dealing with this year. And then when the 9 is unbalanced, it can be like it can cause conflict, argumentation, short tempers, bitter, confrontational, emotional excess, narrow-mindedness in their outlook, and be impressionable. So 9s have to watch their energy too and become balanced. So that's what we're looking at here. So let's get on with the next slide, because the next slide is going to be fun. And then I'm going to kind of take myself down a little bit. Yep, for the next slide. And we're gonna get into it. And Kimberly's saying the wildfires in California is a 9 incident. It sure is, Kimberly. And not only is that a 9 incident, so many things that we've had going on. This year have been 9 incidents going back to the first of the year with the shooting victims, and with the car accident incident in New Orleans, the bombing in front of the Trump Tower. I think that was in Vegas. Um, and then we've got the fires in California. Then you've got the fire that was just took place in Brooklyn. So there's a lot going on. There is really a lot going on, and that's what I'm saying. Like the 9 came in very strong. It was even showing itself through the preview season. So we saw it through the preview season. So we knew what we were in store for. And that's what you got to be ready for in a 9 year. You got to be ready for it. So when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? All right. So let's go back to the slides. And I'm going to make them big now because I want you to see this. And hopefully you can still see it good because it's kind of little. I'm just going to take myself off. So guys, this was the last universal 9 year, 2016. So right now, what I want everybody to do that's watching this, I want you to think back to 2016. And I want you to think back to what you were doing in 2016. What was going on with you in 2016? What was going on with you business wise? What was going on with you, in your relationship? Were you ending a relationship? Like, just journey back with me, journey back in time. And think about it, because that's what we're going to review. But for time's sake, we're going to just review 9 events. But it's so cool because we're going to review the 9 events from 2016, and we're going to look at how some of them carried into 2017. They didn't get completed. They did not get completed, and then what ended up happening was we're dealing with them to this day in 2025, and if they don't get addressed this year, we're gonna be going through them in the next years too. So this is what we're looking at here. So I thought that was pretty cool. So let me pull it back big up on the screen so we can read through some of them. Actually, let me, you know what, I can keep it little because I want to stay up here with you guys. And I'll read it off, okay? Because I want to stay up here with you guys. So let me just grab this other screen and then I can read it off for you guys. All right. So in 2016, first of all, Trump became the president in 2016. Do you guys remember that? You remember the US presidential election took place in 2016. Um, so and that really set the tone. That set the tone for that year and just really up till now. It set the whole tone. We're still dealing with him now. So he took office in that year. Um, and also, Hillary was the first female nominee in that year, so that kinda led the way for Kamala to be able to run this previous year, you know, so that's interesting. That's interesting. You see how see, we're gonna see how this unfolds. Um, Number 2, AI was just really kicking off in 2016. The augmented reality was just getting on smartphones. Self-driving cars had just hit the road in 2016. SpaceX had invented a reusable rocket. And you know SpaceX is Elon Musk's company, and that's huge because look at the role that he's playing right now in 2025 with Trump and with the election and all this kind of stuff. So you know it really comes full circle, and all the stuff that he's trying to do to get into space still. So he started this, you know, way back then. You know, probably before then, but this is when they invented those reusable rockets, and now look at where they are today, right? So this is what we wanna look at. And then so Google invented the not invented, but they came out with the VR. They came out with the virtual reality, headsets in 2016. And then the DNA lab was, brought to the lab desktop. Now look at DNA today. DNA is a global business today. Right? So this is what we gotta look at, all right? So number 3, the Russian hacking happened in 2016. Remember that was what the Russians hacking, they said the Russians were hacking the Democratic National Committee before the convention. Um, so all of that was going on with Russia back then, the leaked emails and all that kind of stuff. All that was going on. And then also that year, the Russian ambassador to Turkey was assassinated. And that happened on December 19th, right at the end of that year, showing us that that was during that preview cycle of that next year. And we're still dealing with stuff with Russia today. They're at war with Ukraine. We're almost on the verge of going to war with them because of the current climate of our political system of us, you know, backing Ukraine in the war and all that kind of stuff. You know, America's always getting in the wars and stuff that they really don't have nothing to do with, other than whatever vested interests that they have that they're not sharing with us, which are many. So we do know that. But again, I just thought that December 19th was interesting because the 19 is a karmic number. So that's like something was owed that didn't get paid in the previous life or something like that. So that's interesting to me that you know, that happens. Anyway, so on with the next one, number 4. Why can't I say it? Jerusalem, Jerusalem in Palestine. Of course, that's always kind of been going on since they made Israel a state there back in 19 like 47-ish. Um so that's always been going on, but like during that time there was like a big major attack during that time in 2016 there that was really it made worldwide news. So you know, we still see that we're going to when we get to the next slide, we're going to see that we're still dealing with that to this day with the war that was going on over there. And then even another interesting turn, we'll look at what Trump did in the year 2017 to really push that, you know, to kind of like tip the scales in that, if you will. And then number 5, Brexit happened. You guys remember Brexit? Remember when Great Britain, when they left the European Union? Do you guys remember that? It was a huge thing. It was the first time ever, a shocking vote that the United Kingdom they left the European Union, and that's when that started in that 2016 year, and we'll see that how that carried over into the next year and how that still has a availing to today. Flint, Michigan water crisis happened in 2016. I wanted to make sure I brought that one up. And we know that that was actually government officials that changed the water system to the river in Flint, which just then poisoned the whole, city thereafter, killing a lot of our children and our family members and different things like that. And just making people sick and, genocide. This is genocide that happens. Um, that one, I don't have a correlation, but I wanted to bring that one up to make sure that people are aware, this is the stuff that went on in that year. Number 7, a police shooting was caught on tape. So guys, remember, when the cops, so this was the year that that really started getting prevalent, that their stuff was getting caught on tape because they've been killing us and stuff like that and traffic stops. But this is the first years that this really been being caught on tape and the tapes being out there, in 2016. And that year it was Alton Sterling. He was killed in Baton Rouge after an altercation with officers outside of a liquor store. And that very next day, Philando Castile was shot 7 times in his car. And that was in Minnesota after a police officer pulled him over for a busted tail light. So he got killed for a busted tail light. His girlfriend was in the car and their 4-year-old daughter was in the car. And that one got broadcast on Facebook Live. And I know you guys remember that. So that was really a raw thing. And all of that's 9 energy. The shootings, the killings, um, the Brexit, them leaving the union, that's a 9 energy. The attack in Jerusalem, that's a 9 energy, like with the terrorist attacks and the bombs and explosions. Russian hacking, that's 9 energy, that's confrontation, that's meddling in business that's not yours on a war and conflict level. The AI, that's 9 energy because 9 rules machines. So AI, that's a machine, at the end of the day. So 9 rules that. So this is where we're gonna be seeing too in this 9 universal year, the rise of that AI. We already saw the rise of it, but this is really it's cultivating in this year, and we're gonna see a huge change in AI this year. And then again, back to Trump. And then number 8, that one of those ex-Stanford swimmer, Brock Turner. He was a white kid in a Ivy League school, Stanford. I don't know if that's an Ivy League school, but I think it is. Anyway, he was sentenced to only 6 months in jail after raping a woman. And there was a big outcry from all communities, really. Like everyone was outraged that they only gave him 6 months for what he did to this girl. And it was just outrageous. And that's 9 energy. And then with him getting off, that's like some demonic type underhanded energy that they got going on with, doing favors and having nepotism for people in their own community, while they simultaneously, shut down all other communities for stuff like that, So this is the energy that we deal with in a year like this. And then number 9, this is the really interesting one that this goes with the entertainment. This is number 9, guys, was the year that Colin Kaepernick first was kneeling the national anthem. Okay. He did it before a preseason game that San Francisco had against the Green Bay Packers, Green Bay Giants, against the Green Bay Packers. And it's the only time that he sat during the anthem, but it wasn't the only time. They said it wasn't the only time he sat during the anthem, but it was the first time that the reporters seen it. So it was, the reporters seeing it. So that's the first time they saw it. And so that's when it started getting the national attention. And now we're going to get to it. I don't want to give it away, but we all know what's going on with Kaepernick now. Like he's still blackballed from the NFL. They blackballed him from that. He did that in the 2016, but he got blackballed in the following year in that first. So we're going to see that. I don't want to give it all away. But yeah, this is what we're dealing with here. So that's it. So those are the 9 events that happened in the 9 universal year. I'm going to real quick it's no joke. It's no joke. And I'm going to real quick just give a few people. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm going to real quick give a few people a synopsis on a few honorable mentions for the 2016. Excuse me. All right, honorable mentions for 2016, 9 energy, 9 universal year. The world's longest rail tunnel in Switzerland was unveiled. That's international travel, guys. The project took 2 decades to complete. The first solar powered plane, the Solar Impulse 2 was successfully completed a trip around the world in July. So we look at that and we see, that's 9 energy. That's international travel. This was a solar plane. That's a machine. Um, you know, trip around the world, and that happened in July. So that was a 7 universal month in that year. And we know seven's also a distance of long travel. And then it happened on the 26th day. So that's an 8 day. So that's legacy there. Um, so then we looked at a major setback for the company SpaceX. So the SpaceX we just talked about with Elon Musk's company. Later that year, the rocket exploded in Florida with the Facebook satellite on board. And then in September, North Korea conducted what was reportedly its fifth and largest nuclear test on 9/9. So look at all that 9 energy that Korea did their nuclear test. See all that 9 energy that they did that nuclear test on? So yeah, this is the energy that we're talking about in the 9 years. So we're almost done. We're gonna get through it. I'm gonna just read one more honorable mention because I want to get on to because this the next one's going to be so interesting because we're going to go through the whole not through the whole cycle, and it's actually interesting enough. I do actually have the whole cycle because I typed up the whole cycle 1 to 9, but I don't like that's too much to do, so I didn't do that whole thing. So I just condensed it to get the 9, and we're going to do 1 through 9 and follow those just 9 things because that's how deep we can go in a rabbit hole. So there's always more to look at. Um, and it's interesting. So some of these things we might pull out later, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. So let me get on with the honorable mentions. So remember in that year too, Donald Trump was bragging about sexually assaulting a woman, and that video leaked in that year. Um, it leaked in that year. So that kind of hurt his votes or whatever, but he still won the presidency. He still won the presidency. And then in that year in May, which May is a 5 universal month in that year. So 5 is also a travel number. The Egypt Air Flight 804 and that 8 and 4, those are critical numbers when they are paired together sometimes. Flight number 804 crashes on May 19th. There goes that karmic number again, and that 1 and 9, that beginning and finish. They crashed on a trip from Paris to Cairo. 66 people on board the plane died. So this is the 9 energy, guys. So this is the type of stuff that we're going to see. Many things are lost in a 9 year, even lives. So this is what we expect. And then from let's look at some of the deaths of the famous people because 9 is the number associated with like kind of artists. It's like a famous number of famous people. David Bowie died in 2016. Prince, we lost Prince in 2016. Actor Alan Rickman and Gene Wilder. Remember Gene Wilder that used to play in the movies with Richard Pryor. Um, we lost Muhammad Ali in 2016, the greatest boxer of all time. Um, so people were really mourning in that year. We lost a couple of the Supreme Court justices. Nancy Reagan, the First Lady Nancy Reagan died in that year. Also, Carrie Fisher from Star Wars died in that 9 year. So yeah, a lot of loss in that year. So I just wanted to give that honorable mention of the last 9 universal year to give everyone an idea of the energy that we're dealing with. And now let's get into the fun. We're going to do the cycle and review. This is a cycle and review, and I thought this was a great slide for us to look at. Let me get myself off. So this is the cycle, guys. And I did it like this because the 5 universal years, the pivot point in the cycle. So you're going to start in a 1 universal year. And that was 2017. And then these were the first 5 cycles in that year. Um, and then we get to the second half, the second act, if you will. The second act is universal year 6, 2022. And then we get through 7, the spiritual year, 8, our harvest year, and then the 9, where we are now, our year of completions, transformations, and endings. and manifestations. So this is what we're dealing with. So, I didn't go through these ones. So 2017, a one universal year. The one universal year is new beginnings, planting seeds. These are new opportunities for you to do things that you want to do, step out on your own, different things like that. The 2 universal year is for germinating those plans. It's for slow, subtle changes, teamwork, if you will, collecting data, gathering information for what you need to do for that thing that you started in 2017. Not moving too many mountains about it, letting things come to you and getting it together. Number 3 universal year, 2019. That would have been a year of expansion, of growth, of expression, maybe some hobnobbing, partying, meeting new people, meeting different things, luck, career wise, you might have gotten a raise in that year or a promotion, and that could have happened to you in 2017 too. And then 2020, we all know what happened in 2020. So 2020 is a 4 universal year. That's foundation, structure. It's an out cycle. It's sitting back. It's letting things, work on things, being meticulous, looking at the details, making sure you find tuned everything. You restructured it. You looked at it for what it was worth, and you made sure you got rid of the bad, and you structured the fine way. And then when you get to 2025, your pivotal point, this is your year to change anything that you did 1 through 4. So now that you're at the pivotal year, you can change what you want to change. This is the year for it. This I call this is like the second 9 year to me, because it's your only other chance to like get rid of things that don't serve you, make a shift. You can make dramatic changes in this year. You can change the whole trajectory of what you're doing, and then lead that in, nurture it the right way as you go through the rest of the cycle to get it up through these next years. But it's going to take work, and you'll see that when you get to that next 2022 year, because when you get to 2022 and a 6 universal year, now you have to really take a step back. It's an out cycle. You're not out doing all the stuff. You have to sit back with your home family. You got to balance all the stuff that you're doing with your work. You got to balance home and family life. You have to create harmony. You have to make sure there's justice, and you're not being too dogmatic about things and making them your own way just for the sake of it. And it's going to be a year that people are going to need you. Your home's going to need you. Your family's going to need you. People from your job are going to ask you for advice. People are going to be coming to you in this year, maybe. So that's your 6 year. And then when you get to that 7 year, you're way out. It's just introspection. It's nothing physical. Everything is by yourself, introspect, reflect, law of attract, journal, manifest, and be analytical, reflect, reflect, and perfect. Observe, don't absorb. Observe, don't absorb in the 7 year. If you absorb, you're going to have a mental breakdown. Let me come off in the 7 universal year. Maybe not 7 universal potential for it, more so 7 personal year. Okay. 7 personal year. Yep. It's time to reflect. You have to reflect. You got to perfect. You have to observe. You cannot absorb, because you have to stay strong, and you got to understand that it's not time for you to do certain things. So you have to lay back and lay low. Um, and just don't take things too personal too in that year. Things are going to pop off because you're being tested. So now whatever you planted in year 1, you're being tested right now in year 7. How much do you really want that plant that you planted in year 1? You know, you're starting to see those leaves grow and stuff, but it's like some of them are wilting. They might be wilting, some of them, and you need to take care of them. You need to prune them back and see what's going on with them. So you got to really take a step back and take the time for yourself in this year. Seriously, it's a critical cycle. Take the time for yourself in your 7 personal year and 7 universal year. I would say that too. I would say it's more strong in the 7 personal year. So let's get back into the cycle. I put it back up here. Um, that one's cool. Where we're at 7. Yeah, so 8 is 2024. That was an 8 universal year. So that's, 8 is your harvest year, it's a power cycle, it's financial, it's relationship, it's a pregnancy cycle. So these are you whatever you planted in one, if you nourished it all the way correctly through the years and did what you were supposed to do, and if you got through that 7 year, you weathered the storm, now you're gonna start seeing, fruit on that tree in that 8 year. You're gonna start feeling better about things. It's a bounce back cycle. It's a way in cycle. I call it the bounce back cycle. So it's your opportunity. That's an opportunity cycle too to really, take a little financial, step forward. With what you're doing. Do some investing and things like that. Invest in your company that you built in 2017 or whatever. And then when you right now, 2025, we're in the 9 universal year, guys. So get to the 9 universal year. This is your year that all your dreams are going to come true from that 1 year that you've nourished, manifested, and nourished and treated kindly, correctly, and navigated it well, stuck with it, didn't give up on it. Um, you're gonna see it. It's no doubt you're gonna see it. This is the year you're gonna see the work that you put in. Basically, this is what it is. The work that you put in is the work that you're gonna get out in the 9 year. That's what's gonna be. The work that you put in from 1 through 8 is what you're gonna get in 9. Okay. So if you slacked off in 1 through 8, you didn't believe in yourself, you didn't believe in your dreams, you didn't nourish them right, you might not see that full fruition come true in that 9. But if you did all those things and you really stuck with it and your heart was there, you're going to see dreams manifest. You're going to see some of that hard work pay off. You're going to start seeing things just come your way and be like, oh, hey, this is an opportunity to do this now. But to me, that 9 heightens it because it heightens it to like a universal level. So it takes you to a more universal setting. It's like a more universal opportunity for you to reach more people with your gift or whatever you did in 1 through 8. Now you got a chance to show it to the whole universe. You know what I'm saying? So that's the year. That's what it's giving. Um, so I hope you guys enjoyed that little breakdown. So that was a breakdown of the 1 through 9 cycle. That's the cycle that we all go through in the universe. We also have a personal cycle that is associated with that cycle, and that's the personal cycle. And I call that your up cycle. And if you want your up cycle, if you don't know it and you want to know more about it and you want to navigate your energy through your up cycles, make sure you hit me up on numeralytics.biz and let me know if you want to get a consultation for that. You can even hit me up on the moon line if you want something. I encourage everyone to go to the website. You can also go to besmartclothing.com and get some merch. I have a huge sale going on right now. Um, with 20% off with the code word Kimberly. So if you go to besmartclothing.com right now, you can get 20% off by using that code word. So make sure you guys like follow me if you want and all that on the other social medias. That's not prevalent right now, but gotta put yourself out there. But definitely go hit up the website, and definitely if you want your up cycle, definitely hit me up so we can go over your cycle, especially for this upcoming year. But if you come to me, you're going to understand your upcycle anyway. So you're going to understand it. So you won't need to, you're going to need to come back for other things maybe, but not for that maybe, or maybe just for the guidance with the balance stuff. So we're just going to really educate you and make sure you understand what you're doing and helping you navigate through what you need to navigate through these cycles. Cause these cycles can be tumultuous, guys. Like look what just happened in the 9 universal year. And that's why I asked you guys to think back to what you were doing, in that year, because that was your personal cycle year. So whatever personal cycle you were in, you had to deal with all that type of 9 energy and the energy of your personal cycle. So this is the intricacies of these up cycles. So this is what we talk about here. This is what happens. All right, so let me bring up the cycle and review. So everything that we just talked about, you guys, um is basically right here, right now. Okay. So this is the cycle and review. And not all of the stuff that we talked about is here, but most of it is. So Trump won the election in 2016, but he got inaugurated in 2017 because you know how that works. You win in November And then you win in November. Oops, why did that do that? Because I'm clicking the screen. You win in November, and then you get inaugurated in like January the following year. So 2017, he got elected president. And then I'm just going to read them from the 2017 over to the 2025. Okay. So 2017, Trump got in office, and then now we're in 2025. Trump is going to go back into office. He was the 45th president, which equals a 9. 4 plus 5 equals a 9. He was the 45th president in 2017, and then here in 2025, in a 9 year, he's the 47th president. So that's interesting because that 47 breaks down to two ones. Um, and that 2017 is a 1 year. So they're both ruled by Leo. So that's interesting. So yeah, so he beat Biden, we know. All right. So then the second thing. Sexual misconduct allegations were made against some of the most powerful men in politics, media, and entertainment industry, mainly Harvey Weinstein back in 2017, guys. And then fast forward to now, in this 9 year, we're still dealing with this. Look at several politicians have been taken down, music moguls that we know have been taken down. Some are actively being taken down right now for these sexual type of allegations. Plenty of actors have been taken down and accused of the sexual misconduct and allegations. And this was one of those ones that you can actually see it through the whole cycle. You can see it through like the in 2018, that's when the Me Too hashtag and all that started, and they took a whole bunch of people down that year. So as you were to go through the cycles, you would see how that really culminated throughout the whole last 9 year cycle, up to 2025, where we are today. Okay, next one, number 3. Trump recognizes Jerusalem as Israel's capital in a historic move. Palestinians Palestinians and Israeli forces clash after Trump's decision to do that. Now, this was a historical move, you guys, because every other president prior to Trump said that they were going to do this, but they did not do it. So Trump, he is a man of his word. I mean, he does what he says he's going to do. Um, so he got in there and he did that, and that really sparked a lot of this more of the conflict. It didn't spark it. I mean, it just added the spark to it because there was already conflict there. But by him doing that, that really made it terrible. That made it terrible for the Palestinians. And that's and then we look at today, Israel and Hamas go to war over ongoing conflict in 2023. So they went to war in the 7 universal year, in that 7 universal year. See? You see that? So this is what happens. In that 7 so that 10-7, let's do that whole date. That's a 7 universal year. 7 plus 1 is 8. That's an 8 universal month. That's the month of 8 is the number of karma. So that's the karma coming back. For that move that happened in that first year. And then you do the 8 plus 7. That's 15. That's a 6. 6 is the number of justice. So do you see how this numbers matter? This is why numbers matter, you guys. Because we just broke this date down of when Israel and Hamas went to war, and it was in a 7 universal year, in an 8 universal month, on a 6 universal day. These are all, karmic the 8's the karmic number of and 8 is also the number of universal justice. It's the number of like spiritual justice and universal justice. 6 is, also the number of imbalance and justice and harmonizing. So a lot of times wars pop off in a 6 universal year because things that have gone through the first cycle, and if they haven't come to an agreement and a balance and harmonization in that 6 year, wars will pop off in that year. So this is the reality that we dealt with. So these are the things that we have to pay attention to that shape our world. These things shape our world. They shape outcomes, these cycles. Yeah. The repetition through the cycles, Teresa, when you don't learn your lessons and you don't do what you're supposed to do in a 9 universal year or a 9 personal year, and get rid of things that don't serve you or that need to be getting rid of. The outworn, the outgrown, the old. Okay, so keep those three in the mind, the three O's, the outworn, the outgrown, and the old. If they don't go in the 9 year, yes, they will repeat in the cycle. Yes, they will. Number four. So remember in 2016, they had the Russian hacking, and then in 2017, they did the investigation into the hacking. Remember Trump fired Comey and Robert Mueller was appointed the special counsel to take over the investigation and that Trump Russia connection thing. So that happened in 2017, that one universal year. So it's going to stay till this 9 year. Now look at us in the 9 year. Russia's at war with Ukraine. The U.S. is supporting the Ukraine financially, even though that's not Trump's regime doing that. But now that Trump's coming back in, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this story as we go along because Trump is cool with Russia and we've been supporting Ukraine in this war. So we're going to see a change, I believe, in this when Trump is inaugurated. I believe one of his first efforts will be to stop the money train to Ukraine. And I don't know if he'll even try to side with Russia. We don't know. This is a non-universal year. Anything can happen. And that's why the family has to be on point and to be understanding what's going on. And that's why numbers matter. So, yes, so, like I said, how would that turn out? So that's number four. So let's go to number five. 2017 is the year of artificial intelligence um, kickoff. And I don't have the exact story, but there's I looked it up. There was a big story on it because it was like the year that it was starting to get into the boardrooms and different meetings rooms and things like that, where meeting and big companies were starting to get involved with it and be like, what can we do with this AI, and start being more meticulous with writing the codes, with making it be like a more personal experience to. So that started in 2017, and then look how it's bloomed to today, and how it's going to really be taken off in this year. Um, and then Britain's formal request to leave the union came in 2017. Remember, they voted in 2016. So 2016 was the vote to leave. And then in 2017, that's when they officially left. Okay. And then if we fast forward to now to 2024 in December, Northern Ireland lawmakers voted to maintain the region's special post-Brexit trade rules with Britain. So over the cycle, they had all of these different, um, injections and things like that, where they were um, negotiating how they were going to handle this now that Great Britain's no longer a part of the European Union, because that has tax implications on different things, tariffs on, different imports and exports. So to this day in 2024, they are still working with that stuff with the Brexit thing that happened back in that 2016 year. That's when the vote started, and in that 2017 years, you can see that's when they did started the negotiations to see what we could do with these laws and the tariffs, and who's going to accept this type of money and for what to get over this bridge. And they're just now in 2024, which was an 8 year financial year. They just settled that out with the taxes for the tolls. So I will see if there's any more to come in this 9 year with them, to see if that will carry out into this next nine cycle. So that's another one to watch for. And then let's get to this interesting one with Kaepernick. This was the interesting one to me, because we know Kaepernick filed the grievance. I'm going to come up and talk about Kaepernick. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this. Um, I really hope you guys are enjoying this. Um, Let me pull this up so I can talk about Kaepernick. So we remember in 2016, Kaepernick that's when he first, when they first started seeing him kneel. And that's when it caught on to them that he was kneeling, or whatever. And then so in 2016, that's when the reporters caught on to it. And that's when it started gaining all the attention. So then in 2017, that's when Kaepernick filed a grievance on the NFL, because I think that's when they blackballed him. So Kaepernick filed a grievance on the NFL. Him and other players protested more and more during the national anthem, and then that's when I think they were fining him. And then he filed the grievance because they were fining him for it. So he filed the grievance, and then that's when they were like, we're not even going to deal with you no more. We know how these companies are. Like, people are expendable to these companies these days, even a football player. So they blackballed him. They blackballed him in 2017. And then we look at fast forward to now, he's still blackballed from the NFL, and he's making every attempt to return. They've just now started letting him do some stuff, but never to return to the field as a quarterback. Like, I don't think that they're ever going to let him do that, especially with his age now as a factor. So yeah, that's interesting because that started in that 2016 last 9 year. It coalesced into 2017. It didn't get ended and finalized in that nine. It coalesced into 2017, and he's to this day he's still blacklisted from them. So this is the type of stuff that we have to look at in the 9 year, and why I say you shouldn't start something in a finishing year. He started doing that protest in the 2016 year, and look, it's following him all the way up to this next cycle. So if he doesn't bust through the gates of the NFL in this year, um, or next year, I would say next year, 2026, he's never gonna get back in. I mean, this is 2016, literally his last chance. So right now, 2025 is his last chance to make his um plead to them or whatever he has to do, whatever he's got to do. Maybe he's got to go through a ritual. We know how things are now. So maybe it's that. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Kaepernick. That's another one to watch to see how that coalesces through this year and into to next year to 2026. And then I'll just point out two other things that weren't things that started it in, but they are in a way because we've been dealing with like the terrorist attacks and all of that kind of stuff. Really for a while. But in 2017 in August, that white nationalists, they had that march in Charlottesville, Virginia. Um, and they struck the protester with a car. And then look what happened in New Orleans this year. In New Orleans, the guy hit the people with the truck. So you see that happened in that 1 year, and it's happening again in the 9 year. So we see that correlation. And then in last year, I mean, in 2017 in Las Vegas, this is the last one, number nine, 20s, Las Vegas, there was a concert shooting that killed 58 people and injured more than 500 others. And then we fast forward to 2025, the Tesla Cyber truck attack happened in Las Vegas in front of Trump's tower. So this is the energy that we're talking about here, you guys. So, let me check in with the family and see what people think about this. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Kimberly says she's enjoying this. Kimberly said the nine has been present and accounted for this year. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And it ain't and we didn't even get through the first month yet. That's the crazy part. And then, when we get into the cycle, we're gonna see how this first month is the reason why we're seeing all of this happen this way. Um, so we're gonna get into that now. So let me pull this up. So I'll get next to this. Let me get next to it this way. Can you guys see it good? Let me take this down because I want to be up here with you. I just want to be next to you. All right. Personal year factor. We're gonna blow through this quick because it's getting late. But we're all good. I have nowhere to go. Numbers matter to me so much. I'm doing this on a Saturday night, so I'm good. So personal year factor, guys. So a lot of people call this different things. That it can be called an alignment number. It can be used to find your first pinnacle. So there's different connotations, and different numerologists will use it in different ways. The way that I see this factor is I see it as your personal year factor. So I see it as what you have to do for yourself. These are all individual to you. This is the energy that you need to do for you to navigate through your cycle. Okay. So that's what the personal year factor is to me. It's a part of your chart, it's a part of your numeratic spread. And the way that we get the personal year factor, it's the month you were born and the day that you were born. Just the month and day, not the year. Just the month and the day that you were born. So we're going to look at this, and this determines the nature and navigation to your up cycle, your universal personal cycle. Okay. So we're going to look at February 7th right now. Let me pull it up more. So we're going to look at February 7th because we're looking at number 9 in honor of number 9. We're looking at February 7th. And hold on, let me just change this view. Yeah, there we go. So I don't look like a little mushed potato in that view. So if you were born on February 7th, we would take 2 because that's the equivalent for February, and we would add 7 because that's the day you were born, and that equals a 9. So if you were born on February 7th, your personal year factor is a 9. If you were born on February 16th, your personal year factor is a 9. If you were born on November 16th, your personal year factor is a 9. So you can determine your own personal year factor by just doing this simple equation. Okay. So personal year factor 9, I call that the cosmic wave. I call it other things, but for now we're calling the cosmic wave. Um, and the tide is completely with you in this cycle. You know, you are really the master of your fate. You hold your whole destiny in your hands. Um, the way you navigate things is up to you in this cycle. Okay. So it's up to you how you're going to handle the energy of the if you're a personal year factor 9, you really need to understand this because it's really it's a serious energy to deal with. Hold on one second cuz I don't want that color and I'm particular. Oh, we're going to change it right on the spot. All right. That's all right. We can use that one, I guess. But I like this. Details matter to me, guys. I'm a number 2 person. All right, let's look at the so if you're a personal year factor 9, you're a cosmic child. Like you literally the universe is literally you born and the universe said, "I am going to back you 100% of the way. Whatever you choose to do, I'm going to back you 100% of the way." So how does that sound? It sounds great, right? But it sounds like a lot of responsibility. It sounds like you really have to be responsible with this type of energy. Okay. You have to be responsible. You cannot be negative. Because if you're negative, the universe is going to back your negativity up 100% of the way. So you want to try to stay as positive as possible. Because if you do that, you are going to have it made, my friend. Whatever your heart desires is what it will have. Okay. You're going to meet the people you need to meet. You're going to be at the right place at the right time. You're going to be able to navigate things easily. To me, I think a little more than others. Just my opinion. I don't know. I think I've talked to a few people with a personal year factor 9, and things kind of just seem to kind of go good for them, but only when they're living on the high level of themselves. So they can be any individual frequency. They don't have to be a 9 person, but the personal year factor 9 is what we're talking about. Okay. So they do need to live on the higher side of whatever individual frequency they are, and really be doing good things and positive things for the world. And if they do that, the universe is going to bless them over and over again. And this is what we're going to look at through this cycle. So let me share with you my personal year 9 cycle. So if you add up your birthday and it is adds up to a 9, your personal year factor is a 9. Congratulations. You got the cosmic wave cycle. But again, remember you have to balance this energy, guys, because it's a very powerful energy. So you have to make sure you're staying balanced because it can overtake you. So, when you're dealing with too much fire and all that kind of stuff, make sure you're balancing yourself out so you're not just being too overly aggressive with people, places, and things. Because you want to make sure you're not being, confrontational and different things like that. So let me just pull this back up. I know you can't see that, but I think you can see that. So let me pull this down. And I don't like the way this slide looks, so I'm gonna take it down because it messed up my sometimes when you upload the slides into the thing, it messes your slide up. So I'm just going to see if I can share it here. Give me 1 second, family. I'm going to share it on the screen so you can see it a little better. Start from current slide. All right, now let me share. We're just going to run through these real quick, guys. I'm not going to hold you with this. We're going to run through them real quick. Not going to be too long-winded. All right. All right. It still did it. Or did I do it right? Oh, hold on. Yeah, I got the wrong screen up. There we go. There we go. Now it's straight. Now you can see a straight table. Okay. I know. I'm sorry, Teresa. Can you see this now? Ah. There you go. I think you can see it good now. All right. You can take a snapshot of this too, guys, if you want. But this is only for a person that is a personal year factor 9, so it really won't help other people that much. It'll help you for the universal cycle because this is the thing with the 9 cycles, why I call it the cosmic cycle. You basically have the whole backing of the universe as you see. When you are in a 9 universal year, you're also in a 9 personal year. The universe is in a 1 universal month, you're also in a 1 universal month. If today, like if for instance, today is a 3 universal day, anybody with this personal year factor, today is a 3 universal day for you too. Okay. So you basically have double the energy, double the fun, double the responsibility, double the focus, power, all of that, you know. So I'm not going to go through the what the cycles and the themes mean because we already did that when we went over the cycles, but just showing you this visual alone should show you how powerful this is. Um, and then the elemental influence is also something that you have to look at. We're not going to go through them here and what they mean too much, but I just wanted to show you this because I'm showing you when you have this factor, the universe is behind you 1000%. This is why it is up to you to do the right thing, guys. You got to do the right thing when this is the energy that you possess. Okay. Because if you don't, you're going to cause mayhem and chaos. And if you do, you're gonna have everything you want. Like you can literally manifest, like you literally can manifest anything you want with this cycle. Because it really what it does is it puts you in places where you're supposed to be. But you also have to be mindful of the tides because again, 9 universal year is a cusp. So if you're a personal year factor, you're also on that cusp with the 9 year. But as far as the months go, the months have their own energy on a tide. So you gotta come get your numeralytics so you can find out about all this. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So we're gonna get on because we're almost done, you guys. Can you believe it? Queen Bee's gonna get done under an hour and a half. Imagine that. All right, let me put this back up. So the way you balance, so now we're on the balance and energy, and you know that's my favorite thing to do around here. Love to I love to be. I just love to be me. So you guys, you got to balance your energy, okay? You have to balance energy because it's how you get to your superpowers. So make sure you get with me to learn how to do this. So tonight we're only looking at 2B factors. These are 2 balancing esoteric energy factors. We're just looking at 2 of them. There's plenty of them, but 2 of them tonight. So we're going to look at astrologically and numerically. Um, and when you balance that way, you balance the energy of the opposite zodiac. That allows you to cultivate and activate the spiritual by diminishing the physical. And it's transformation, it's transcendent energy. It's an aura shield. It puts up a shield on your aura um, for negativity. Let me come up and explain something. So have you guys ever let me get back in the circle. Have you guys ever and I'm going to use an example of myself. So I'll tell a short story of myself. Back in I wanna say this was probably back in, like, 2015, something like that, 2014, 2015. It might have been in 2014, 2015-ish. I was out hanging out, with my friends, and, we were just out, I don't even remember where we went. We were downtown somewhere. I live, outside of Philadelphia. At the time, I actually was living really close to the city, about 5 minutes away. And we were out, and this time now I always drive. That's one thing. If you know me, I'm a driver. I drive my own car. I drive myself where I want to go. I don't like riding with other people. Just because when I'm ready to go, I want to go. Like, and I don't want to burden other people with that. So I always like to drive myself. But this one particular time, I didn't drive. I rode with my friend. So we went out, we hung out, we were, probably had an okay time. I don't think I had that great of a time actually, but on the way back, she had on this radio station, and I didn't like the music, you guys. Like, I don't listen to the radio. I really never have, because I like a particular kind of music. So the kind of music that I like, they don't play on the radio at that time. The people that I like got banned from the radio back then, around that time. So she had this music on, and it was loud. We were in the car, and the music was so loud, like, it was really literally, it made me physically ill. The vibration and the frequency of that music, it made me physically ill. And this can happen to you when you're around the wrong vibration, family. This is why numbers matter and frequencies matter. When you are surrounding yourself with negative vibrations, or with vibrations of people and frequencies of people, places, and or things that do not resonate with your individual frequency, you're putting yourself at risk for to be ill, to be physically ill, not just mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. So this is why numbers matter. It's important to know your numbers. And everything's frequency. And the sound of that music was making me ill, was making me sick. And this is what I often think that it is like when people don't like something, you could feel like, I could feel the negativity of the music. I could feel it, and it was just with the bass, and it was booming in you. And I'm like, that's why some of these people in this new generation got these issues. Like, because if you listen to that kind of stuff every day, man, it matters what you listen to. Like, our bodies are 70% water, and water holds memory. Water's smart. Water's spirit, you know? Water holds all of the ancient secrets, and you're making your water toxic by giving it negative vibrations. So you got to be mindful of that, of what you put into your mind and your body, what you listen to. That's important. I talk about that a lot. I do a talk on that, you know, frequencies and sound frequency and what you listen to. Music matters. Your music matters what you listen to. So give yourself, don't do that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to have party music when you're out and stuff. I know there's party club music and stuff, but like, you gotta, so you can't, can't be your whole thing. So that stuff matters, man. And then the second way we do it numerically, that we're going to talk about very, very quickly tonight. And when you do that, you're going to align with the vibration, the higher vibration of your opposite number. So since we're talking about number nine, that would be number 2 and 7 are the opposite vibrations of the nine. So if there's a nine living on the lower side of their vibration, I would assist them by giving them action words for the 2 and the 7, and physical activities of the 2 and the 7, and other things. We'll leave it there tonight for numerically. There's other ways to do it too, but we'll start with giving you the action words, and some of the physical actions that you would do. Because once you do that, it automatically propels you into the higher side of that nine. Because they're just opposites. They're the same thing. When you look at their definitions and of their action words, um, the high two is the nine is just the higher of the two. That's all it is. The low two, the low nine is the lower of the two. because it's the higher frequency. So it's always going to have the stronger impact. So, that's just the 2 and a 9. So that's just getting started. So, I just wanted to make sure I let that knowledge be born for the family, for the universal supreme, for us. I do this for us, family. I do it for us. Okay. So, let me look and see what we have. I think that might be it. Let me see. Let me see. Yep, that's it. I want to thank everybody who tuned into this live. Um, Thank you so much. Make sure you like it. Make sure after it's over, come back and just put a comment on there. It helps the algorithm because I'm telling you, YouTube is something else. But I really appreciate your support. So we have some upcoming things coming up on the show. We have Cultural Reflections will be coming back in February. That's where I interview entrepreneurs, and just whoever, authors, entrepreneurs, artists in the culture. I'm gonna tell you in a second, Teresa. And then we have Justice on Earth. Of course, Justice on Earth is back. With my lovely co-host Carnell Winder Boy, and Lenny Valley, the Justice Initiators. We do Justice on Earth every Thursday night live at 10 p.m. This past week, we talked about health, education, law, and politics. And it was very interesting. We talked about some current events that's going on in healthcare right now with some injustices. So make sure you guys go support that show and check us out over there. And then we have Numbers Matter, our next episode. I know it says cycle in review 1 through 9 because I had this so separated. I was going to break this episode down and do it in different ways, but we did that tonight. So I'm actually going to show you what's coming up for the next episode. Give me 1 second so I can pull the banner up. I have the blueprint coming up on the next episode, and this is going to be with Shawan West. She's an investigative astronumerologist, and she's going to be coming on to talk about the blueprint. And this is going to be live, family. This is going to be next Saturday, and that's why I did this show this Saturday because I want to see if the family likes Saturday night. I'm trying to find a home for Numbers Matter so we can have a nice little home to nestle into. And numbers matter so much to me that I have no problem with doing this on Saturday night because this is my life. It's what I do anyway. So I don't have a problem. And if you guys like it, then we might stay here for a while. I got a few Saturdays lined up, so we're gonna see how it goes. But I definitely want you to be in the building for this. This is a smart, sharp sister. She's very swift with it and very investigative in her manner. You see, she's the investigative astronumerologist of the 21st century. So this is how we get down around here. So make sure you guys tune in for this. This will be January 18th at 7 p.m. I cannot wait for that sister to come on here and do that presentation. I can't wait. And if you missed any of the other numbers matter units, well, let me say it, let me rephrase. If you missed any of the other numbers matter unities, because they're already done, so they're unities now. You can go back right through the playlist and watch it. There'll be a card here where you can hit watch, old, you know, numbers matter. Watch the playlist. I'll put the playlist up here so you guys can make sure you go back and catch all our episodes. Because we drop jewels on here. We want to make sure the family's informed of what's going on. So that's what we have coming up. I want you guys to make sure you text me on the moon line. If you have any questions, you can text them there. Um, if you have questions, I really want you to put them in the comment though. Put them in the comment below, and then I'll come back and answer them. So this is the upcoming support from the Universal Supreme. That's us and us. Okay. I'm the Queen Bee. You can hit me up on info@numeralytics.biz. You can email me there. Um, and then you can come to the website at numeralytics.biz, and then besmartclothing.com where you can get some merchandise that is positive and high vibrational for the family. We want to bring positivity and high vibrations for the family. Okay. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Okay. Make sure you're following me on Numeralytics. If you're watching this on BTV, go follow me on my Numeralytics YouTube. I appreciate it. I need to get my followership up over there. And I want to just give you a sneak peek too. I'll have at the end of the month, I'm going to be doing, since this is the 9 universal year, we really wanted to dedicate this month to the number 9 a little bit. So I'm going to be doing, we got the blueprint coming up. Then I have the 9 planets coming up with Kimberly the following week. And then the last week, we're going to close out. I'm going to do a cycle review of myself, BTV, Taylor B, Queen B. You guys are going to get to know me a little bit better. You're going to get to know me through my last cycle. I'm going to go through my cycle with BTV and show you how I manifested BTV, and how I got to where I am right now. So this is us, guys. You are here with me on my journey. You know I'm a water number, so if you hear my voice like it's about to cry, I probably might be about to cry, but I'm not sad or anything. It's just the way I am. Very emotional, and passionate. I'm like steam, very explosive. I'm water, I'm fire and water. That's that explosion. But so yeah, so make sure you guys are tuned in for that. We have a lot in store for you coming up the rest of this month. So I just want to make sure the family's in tune with me and really coming with me on this new journey that we're taking this year, and really just being transformative here on BTV. And then you guys are going to really see how things coalesce for BTV. You're going to see the ups and the downs. I'm telling you, you know what the last cycle is that we went through. We know we went through the pandemic. There were ups and downs for BTV, and you're going to see the transformation that BTV had to take in the 2021 in that 5 year that I had to take based on the pandemic and all of that kind of stuff. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very personal. So if you want to get to know me better and you want to get to know BTV better and why I do what I do, I am giving up everything that episode. So that's gonna be a bombshell at the end of the month. So, tell your friends BTV is getting it in. So I want to thank everybody for being here on the live tonight. I love each and every one of us. I love each and every one of us, okay? I love each and every one of us. So make sure you guys are treating each other well. Make sure that you're going to be well. Okay. And just make sure that you're doing what you need to do to navigate through this year. If you need a consultation, hit us up. Talk to me on the moon line. You can get the basic of basics if you want. We're here to help you. So that's what we're here for. So we want to make sure that we're doing that and that we're serving the family well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the show. I want to thank you guys really from the bottom of my heart for being here. Peace, universal love, kings and queens.